What's happening, you beautiful people? Guys, listen, I just got off a podcast. I just recorded a podcast with my man, Paul Edwards. Shout out, Paul Edwards. Networking Influencer Secrets podcast. I just finished recording with him, and my head is spinning right now. He got my mind running. He asked me a question, and I started opening up about my story and just sharing what I was going through during that time when football was no longer in my life. And I came back home. I was an unemployed college grad, had no idea what I was doing. And really, I just started thinking about, he asked me how I was coping with that time in my life, like what I was doing to deal with those emotions and that feeling of being lost. I just told him straight, just drugs, alcohol, just man, like you never seen somebody smoke more weed than I was smoking during that time of my life. Maybe Wiz Khalifa, maybe Snoop Dogg, but I was close. Like just drunk, high all the time, you guys, just really trying to escape what I was going through. And I'm like, let me jump on here while this is fresh in my mind, just make a video, make a podcast episode, and just talk about not escaping. Like, know the difference between a reset and an escape, right? Don't, and I'll explain what I mean by that in just a second. But my point is, do not try to escape from your reality. Change it. Don't escape your reality. Change it. And what I mean by the difference between a reset and an escape is a reset is, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to watch some TV. Maybe I'll have a beer or something just to kind of reset, get my mind right. And then it's right back to the mission. An escape is I'm going to binge watch 8 hours of TV today and not do anything else. Um, an escape is I'm going to drink this whole bottle. I'm going to smoke 4 blunts and like just sit and stare out the window or whatever, or just watch Rick and Morty or whatever you watch. I don't know. But my point is, guys, you have to know the difference and you have to be able to check in with yourself and ask yourself, am I doing this as a reset or am I escaping from my reality? And if you do find yourself escaping from your reality, well, if I could talk, if you do you find yourself escaping from your reality, make sure that you're actually doing something about it. Don't just run away from your problems. Don't just run away from a life that you're unhappy with. Like the goal is to build a life for yourself that you don't need a vacation from. I'm gonna say that again. The goal is to build a life for yourself. All of us build a life for yourself that you don't need a vacation from. So how do you do that? When you find yourself unhappy, check in with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I'm unhappy about? Right? If you feel like your life is aimless, you have no mission, you just go home and you come home after work and you just drink beers and you just watch TV and you fall asleep and you wake up and it's Groundhog Day and you do the same thing over and over again. And then on the weekends, you go out and get drunk so that you can escape from the life that you're unhappy with. And then Sunday night, you get the Sunday night blues and you go back in there on Monday and you do it all over again. Look at that. Start coming up with the plan to get out of that. You know what they say, right? A man without a plan is not a man at all. And this applies to women too. A woman without a plan is not a woman at all. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere. This is stuff I talk about all the time. I have countless videos. You know, I sound like a broken record at this point, just talking about being intentional. But I mean it, guys. Sometimes you need to hear it over and over again for it to really stick. If you're escaping from your life, figure out how you're going to do, like how you're going to create a life for yourself that you don't need to escape from. So if if you are on a mission right now, if you have an idea or something you've been hesitating about going after, whether that's a job change, whether that's starting a business, whether that's getting in shape, any sort of change that you have been thinking about making in your life that you haven't executed on for whatever reason, like what are people going to think, or I don't have time. That's the worst excuse in the world, by the way. I don't have time, right? You make time for what's important in your life. So if you're at a job right now that you're unhappy with, or you have some sort of business idea that you haven't been thinking about starting, no one else is going to do it. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to get you out of that job but you. No one else is going to help you start that business but you, right? If you're having trouble figuring out what your mission is to figure out what your mission is. Everybody has a mission. Everybody has some sort of purpose that they're supposed to be on. We're not just supposed to wake up and go to work for 50 years and that's it. Unless the work you're doing is important to you. But if it's not important to you, guess what? You got to find what your mission is. I'm sorry. That's the only way you're going to be able to escape from this. That's the only way you're going to get rid of that feeling, that Sunday night blues feeling that you have. Like, damn, I have to go back in here on a Monday and do this for another week. Like, aren't you, you got me going now. Aren't you tired of, like, thank God it's Friday? You want to go through the whole rest of your life for the next 50 years or whatever till you retire, being like, oh, like, thank God it's Friday. Like, that's not a good place to be, guys. That's not a good place to be, right? So just to recap, know the difference between a reset and an escape. And you know, On a deep soul level, you know the difference. I know you know. Don't lie to me. I know you know the difference between a reset and escape. I know you know when you're doing too much, when you've had one too many drinks, when you've watched way too much TV. You're escaping. Admit it, you're escaping. Okay. So look in the mirror and say, what am I escaping from? What is it that I don't like? And if it's your job, if it's your relationship, work on changing that, guys. Do something about it. You have to. You have to. You have to. You owe it to yourself. You deserve it. If you love yourself, and I know a lot of people struggle with self love. So maybe that's the place to start. Maybe you just don't love yourself right now. And maybe you need to forgive yourself for something. Maybe you need to focus on uh, just having more care for yourself, right? One thing I always think about is if you had a person in your life who was treating you the same way that you treat yourself, would you cut that person out? Probably, right? So that's something to look at. You need to look at how you're treating yourself and think about what it is that you can do to improve your life circumstances. You have to. You have to, guys. It's necessary. If you want to listen, if you want to stop escaping, you have no choice. You have no choice. Know the difference between a reset and escape. Know the difference between um what the hell? I forget what I was even talking about right now. You guys got me fired up right now. But um my God. Ooh, I had to go get my water. I was about to pass out. I know it's October, but guys, it's still hot in California. It's like 90 something degrees today. And I'm getting all fired up because this topic is important to me. So the last thing I want to say is that while you're pursuing this new mission, while you're trying to carve out a new life for yourself or create better circumstances for yourself, it's it's going to require you to be a little bit selfish. Like you may have to, you've heard the whole thing about you got to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help anybody else, right? So you may have to sacrifice time with friends, family, whatever the case may be. You're going to have to do this if you're really pursuing something, whether that's getting a new job, whether that's losing weight, whether that's, starting a business. You're going to have to make sacrifices. And if the people really love you, they'll understand that you're not just doing it for yourself for selfish reasons. You're doing it for them too. Like you don't just owe it to yourself to create a better life. You owe it to everyone in your life to create a better, like, if you're not the best version of yourself, that means, like, for example, if I'm not the best version of myself, my mom doesn't get the best son. My dad doesn't get the best son. My brother doesn't get the best version of a brother, right? My friends don't get the best friend because I'm not taking care of myself first. You see how that works? It's all connected, guys. So make sure you're taking good care of yourself and make sure that you explain to the people in your life if they feel some type of way when you're starting to do your thing and start to, spend more time working on your craft, or you don't hang out at the bar as much, or you miss a birthday party or two because you're pursuing something. Explain to them, hey, I'm doing this not just for me, I'm doing this for all of us. I'm pursuing something right now. I have to do this. I need this like I need oxygen, right? And it has to get to that point for you too. Maybe it's not at that point yet. Maybe the pain isn't strong enough at your job. You're not miserable enough at your job yet where it's like you need to get out of there. You're not miserable enough. You're not so unsatisfied with your weight that you're like, I'll eat another burrito. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, I love burritos, guys. All right, let me wrap this up. I think you guys get the point. I said a lot. I said a lot, and I repeated myself a lot, but it's only because I feel like I got to say what's on my heart. I got to speak from like whatever is coming to me right now. Otherwise, the message will never get across, because I'm a very analytical person, and I would sit here and just go over and over again thinking about what do I want to say, how do I want to say it, rather than just being like, I'm inspired to talk about this right now, so I'm gonna do it. So that's my message, and I'll check you guys next time. I love you all. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. The people in your life deserve it. All right, peace.